have a message for Mr. Trump. We're not going to allow you and your friend, Mr. Musk, and the other billionaires to wreak havoc on the working families of this country. And that is, we will not allow you to move this country into an oligarchy. No, you're not going to destroy Social Security. You're not going to destroy Medicaid. You're not going to destroy the Veterans Administration.
You've heard Trump's lies for years, but have you ever seen someone call him out to his face? Bernie Sanders just did the unthinkable on live TV, and Trump's reaction was absolutely priceless. When Bernie looked Trump dead in the eye and said, "Remember that a lie, Mr. President, about the stolen election claims?" the room went silent. Trump's face turned redder than his tie as Bernie exposed his empty healthcare promises and tax breaks for billionaires. This wasn't just another political debate, it was the moment the emperor's new clothes finally disappeared. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. Ever wonder what happens when someone finally calls out the biggest con in American politics? Well, Bernie Sanders just did exactly that right to Trump's orange face. For years, the former president kept promising Americans this magical healthcare plan that would be so much better than Obamacare. You know the one, that beautiful plan that was always coming in 2 weeks.
You know who the biggest criminals are in this country? They are the CEOs of major corporations who are robbing us every single day. I'll tell you what else you're not going to do. We're not going to let you undermine the democracy that men and women in this country have fought and died for. If we stand together, we can not only defeat Trumpism, but we can create the kind of great nation we know that we can become. Thank you all very much.
Spoiler alert, those 2 weeks never came. Bernie didn't just call Trump out, he brought a flamethrower to a knife fight. During their heated exchange, Bernie laid out the cold, hard truth. Despite making an astonishing 68 separate claims that his healthcare plan was ready or coming soon, Trump's presidency came and went without delivering anything concrete. 68 times. That's not a mistake. That's a strategy of deception that would make even used car salesmen blush. When Bernie started listing all these empty promises, Trump's reaction was priceless. His face turned a shade redder than his signature tie, and he started squirming in his seat like a kindergartner who needs a bathroom break. Instead of addressing any of Bernie's substantial criticisms, Trump did what Trump does best, name-calling and deflection. When confronted with his healthcare failures, he just labeled Bernie as crazy and tried to change the subject. Meanwhile, Bernie kept hammering away, pointing out how Trump's actual policies were designed to benefit billionaires, while regular American families were left struggling to afford basic medical care.
I think the American people are sick and tired of Elon Musk, the richest guy in the world, running around slashing Social Security, veterans programs that Republicans, and I think the American people are prepared to stand with those of us who say that, you know what, we're a government of the people, by the people, for the people, not the oligarchy. You got to stand up, you got to fight back, you got to go into the streets, you got to rally the American people. I think you can win millions of people, Republicans, Democrats, independents, who really do not like the direction in which this country is now going.
The contrast couldn't have been clearer. Bernie with specific facts and figures, Trump with nothing but hot air and insults. What made this confrontation so satisfying was watching someone finally hold Trump accountable to his face. As Bernie outlined how Trump's healthcare lies directly hurt real Americans, you could almost see the wheels turning in Trump's head, desperately searching for an escape route. But there was nowhere to run from Bernie's truth bombs. The most revealing moment came when Bernie exposed the reality behind Trump's healthcare rhetoric. There never was a plan. It was all smoke and mirrors designed to distract Americans, while Trump's wealthy buddies enjoyed massive tax breaks. All those promises about coverage for everyone? Just empty words from an empty suit. While Trump couldn't deliver a single page of his mythical healthcare plan, his response to Bernie's Gaza questions revealed something far more disturbing. The moment Bernie Sanders shifted to the humanitarian catastrophe in Gaza,
We are living in a pivotal moment in our country's history, facing unprecedented challenges. President Trump has been very effective in creating what I would call a parallel universe for his supporters. How we respond to this moment will impact not only our lives, but the lives of our kids and grandchildren, and in terms of climate change, the very health and well-being of the planet.
Trump's face went from orange to pale faster than you can say stable genius. Bernie laid out the devastating reality with surgical precision. 45,000 dead Palestinians, 100,000 injured, and a complete collapse of basic infrastructure. Virtually all of the housing has been destroyed, Bernie explained, his voice steady as he detailed how Gaza's healthcare and educational systems lay in ruins. This wasn't political theater. It was a moral accounting from someone who clearly did his homework. But Trump? Oh boy. When confronted with these horrifying statistics, the former president looked about as comfortable as a cat in a bathtub. Instead of addressing the human suffering, Trump went on a bizarre tangent about buying Greenland? Yes, really. While Bernie was talking about thousands of dead civilians, Trump was babbling about real estate deals that never happened. It was like watching someone being asked about a 5-alarm fire and responding with their thoughts on ice cream flavors. The cognitive disconnect was so severe you could practically hear the error messages in Trump's brain that when Bernie pressed him on his actual plan for Palestinians, Trump's response was emptier than Melania's side of the bed. All he could muster were vague mutterings about building something like the French Riv, apparently confusing a humanitarian crisis with a luxury resort development opportunity.
Over 60% of our people, as we speak, right here, 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. I grew up in a family living paycheck to paycheck. That ain't easy. We need a labor secretary who, in fact, is going to be a champion of working families. Now, people trying to find out how they're going to get health care, how they're going to pay their rent, how they're going to feed their kids, which is one of the reasons why working class people die 6 years shorter lives. Now, $7.25 federal minimum wage. Anybody think that anywhere in America can live on $7.25 an hour?
The contrast couldn't have been more striking. Bernie armed with specific facts and figures about a genuine humanitarian disaster, while Trump fumbled around like a toddler trying to explain quantum physics. It wasn't just that Trump disagreed with Bernie's assessment, it was that he appeared completely clueless about the basic facts of the situation. Let's be crystal clear about what happened here. When confronted with the deaths of 45,000 human beings, Trump couldn't even fake basic compassion or knowledge. This wasn't just political incompetence, it was a peek behind the curtain at a man whose empathy circuit seems permanently disconnected. What we just witnessed wasn't your average political spat. This was a masterclass in how to handle the orange menace. Bernie didn't beat around the bush like those fancy pants politicians who tiptoe around Trump's fantasy world. He straight up showed that when faced with cold, hard facts, Trump's whole act falls apart faster than his spray tan in a rainstorm. Political experts have pointed out something juicy. Trump's entire brand just unravels when someone hits him with actual facts. Bernie delivered those facts without flinching, while Trump turned into a human tomato. Most politicians are too scared to try this approach, preferring to play nice rather than expose the emperor's naked behind. The big question now is whether other Democrats will grow a spine and follow Bernie's lead, or if they'll keep pretending Trump makes sense when he rambles about buying Greenland and whatever other nonsense pops into his head. Bernie showed us the blueprint. Now who's brave enough to use it?